Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. It's so good to be back with you again. Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show. It's episode 156. Been out of pocket here for the past couple weeks, but I'm so glad to be sitting down behind the microphone again, talking about one of the most exciting topics of my life, and that is camping. Did you get a lot of summertime camping in this year? I hope you did. For those of you who enjoy the summertime heat, right about now is when I begin making my camping plans because the temperatures are outside are starting to fall. I can go on my back patio like I did this afternoon, and I sat out there with the dogs. I let them run. I didn't have to worry about running back in the house because I was pouring down with sweat. It just felt good, and that's the type of camping I really enjoy. The fall and wintertime camping is really tops for me. I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting ready to take a few trips here momentarily and hopefully take my gear out there and do some remote broadcasting. It's really exciting when I do that, and hopefully I'll be around with some other folks who enjoy talking about camping and getting them behind the microphone as well. On the program today, we're going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to take you to an exciting place here in the Southeast, and I think you are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a place that you will want to take your family next year at this time because it really brings back some real wonderful memories of days gone by. Do you remember when you were a kid? I'm talking to you folks who are up there in your ages like me. At nighttime, your parents could put you in front of the television set. There was never a concern about what you were watching or the content of the program you were watching. Most everything back in those days was in black and white. You know what kind of programs I'm talking about. Gomer Pyle USMC, Mayberry RFD, The Andy Griffith Show, does that ring a bell? Gilligan's Island? Those were good, clean family programs. Well, the place I'm going to take you today is Mount Airy, North Carolina. I think I just gave it away. Mount Airy, North Carolina brings back memories of the Andy Griffith Show. And do you know what's going on this week in Mount Airy? It's Mayberry Days. For all this week, they are going to be doing nothing but recognizing and celebrating the times of the Andy Griffith Show. And if you visit Mount Airy, you're going to come across a lot of attractions that are going to bring back those memories of what you saw during the Andy Griffith Show. We're going to talk about it on the program today. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's a wonderful program, as always, here on Happy Camper Radio. You can get in touch with us anytime by calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage. You click on any one of those, and you'll connect right up with us. And if you follow us on social media, we give you a shout-out, and I'm going to go right to the infamous shout-out window right now, and we're going to recognize some of these folks. First of all, to Valerie Hewlett of South Portland, Maine. She likes us on Facebook. To the fine folks over at Dash Hub Auto in New York, New York. Charlie from Texas. David from Michigan. Julie Rutland of Purcellville, Virginia. And finally, to Dennis All of Nebraska. They're following us on Twitter this week. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Glad to have you on board, and more important than anything, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest here on the program? Simply get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and we'll make that happen. If you have something in a line of camping you want to talk about, that wonderful camping trip you and the family took this past summer, any particular type of product related to camping, I'd love to have you on the show. I'm always up for some great conversation. Mount Airy, North Carolina is our subject today on Happy Camper Radio, and it's a great place to visit. This week, they are celebrating Mayberry Days. Now, let me tell you how I come across this. I'm always browsing the internet. I'm always looking at news stories. I try to find some positive things out there. You know, you never have any problem at all finding the negative stuff. And there's a lot of it going on right now. And it's stuff that, you know, we really don't want to expose our young kids to. But unfortunately, it's on the 6 o'clock news. It's splattered all over the internet. People were talking about it. And I'm not going to go into any particular subject matter. But, you know, there's some good things in this world today that you want to expose your young children to. Wouldn't it be nice if you could take them to a camping environment, if you could take them to a small town that has some of the memories of what you grew up with as a kid? Well, Mount Airy, North Carolina offers that. And I happened to come across an article not too long ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And I says, wow, this would be great for a show idea. Because right in this small town, there are, on the outskirts, some family-oriented campgrounds. And if you enjoy camping like I do, if you enjoy getting out to see the sights and sounds of everything outside of your camping environment, well, Mount Airy, North Carolina is a place you may want to consider visiting next year at this time. Now, I'll tell you why. Because as we speak right now, September 21st through the 25th in Mount Airy, North Carolina, is the Mayberry Days Festival. And you can absorb all of the activities, everything that went on during the times of Andy Griffith. A lot of replica buildings out there, a lot of the sights and sound. They have a lot of festive activities, and it really brings back those wonderful memories of what we used to sit down and see on TV. Now, Mount Airy is located on the border of North Carolina and Virginia. For me, that would probably be a half-a-day trip from Atlanta to get there, with all my gear loaded, of course. It has inspired the town of Mayberry on the Andy Griffith Show. And what makes Mount Airy so special? Well, you remember Andy Griffith, all right? He played the sheriff on the Andy Griffith Show. He also played some other characters in other movies. One of my favorites that he had played a role in that just has me in stitches every opportunity I get to see it, and I haven't seen this movie in a while. It's No Time for Sergeants. I'm sure that movie is still floating around somewhere out there. It might be on Netflix. It might be on YouTube. I just have to look around for it. But every time I get an opportunity to watch No Time for Sergeants and Andy Griffith, I know I'm bound to get a good laugh. But still, the Andy Griffith Show, that really instills a lot of memories of times gone by. Andy Griffith grew up in Mount Airy, no kidding. And that town right there focuses pretty much on his past, on his history. It's a small town with a small town feel to it. Do you remember sitting down as a kid watching the Andy Griffith Show and all the wonderful characters that were in that program? There's never been an episode that was boring. I used to watch it when I was a kid. I remember sitting down in the basement of my parents' house with my 4 brothers and sisters in front of that black and white television set. The Andy Griffith Show was televised in black and white. In fact, today, if you look at any of the reruns, and I know you can get the Andy Griffith Show on Netflix. If you're a Netflix customer, I mean, I've been one for many, many years. It's something like, I'm paying like $9.95 a month. And I like to look at a lot of the old television programs that I used to watch as a kid because it brings back memories and kind of keeps me young in a way. Many homes back in those days had black and white TVs. I can remember a time where we were, I don't want to say taught, but we were thinking anybody who had a color television set was a person made of money. And look at it today. I mean, everybody has not only color TV sets, they have flat panel TV sets, high definition, excellent quality where the picture just jumps right out at you. Wow, we have come a long way ahead. But I like to think back of the days. It's kind of like broadcast equipment. Even though I've got great broadcast studio here in the equipment, I have some gear that I acquired from back in the 80s when I was really enjoying the broadcast days. Now, I don't use them for the show, but I love having them here in the studio because those things bring back memories, just like the television programs we're talking about. Now, the Mount Airy Day Festival, like it says, is happening right now in Mount Airy, North Carolina. It runs this year from September 21st through the 25th, and it's an annual event. And I'm definitely going to have links to Mayberry Days on our website at happycamperradio.com, so you can click on those. You'll find them in the link section. Anytime you visit happycamperradio.com, you definitely want to visit there because you can pick up on a whole lot of things just by clicking any one of the links. And definitely, if you want to live through some of those days gone by, you may want to make plans for Mayberry Days Festival in 2017. Lots of things to do, lots of things to see. It's a big festive environment. Most everything that I like about Mayberry Day Festival that I have read is within walking distance. We're talking the Andy Griffith Playhouse, the historic Earl Theater, the Blackman Amphitheater. These are just a few here, just as an example. And most events are scheduled with minimum overlap. This way, you can enjoy just about everything that you come to see and do when you visit Mayberry Day Festival in Mount Airy. There's free parking in numerous municipal lots around town. That's not the big city feel, okay? If you go to the big city, they're going to charge you for everything, Atlanta included. Parking, running around, doing this, everything seems to have a price tag to it. Where can you go these days to get free parking? So if you want to take your friends, your family, your loved ones to an event that everybody can enjoy, not only the young kids, but you as grown adults who are big kids in a way yourself, you may want to consider Mount Airy, North Carolina. And now, you don't have to wait for Mayberry Day festivals to visit Mount Airy. You can go there any time of the year. But also keep in mind, too, if you plan on visiting in the fall, the wintertime, early spring, you're going to find a lot of the campgrounds out there are going to be closed. They're seasonal, simply because the cold weather moves in, and they do get snow up there, and not everybody is into camping in the snow. I'm not crazy about it, but I'll do it. I love the cold temperatures. I like fall camping more than anything else, folks. I've talked about that on numerous occasions here on the program. But when you visit Mount Airy, North Carolina, there's some things you're going to want to see when you visit there. Think about, as I'm talking, some of the events that you saw while watching the Andy Griffith Show. Remember Wally's service station. You can visit Wally's service station while in Mount Airy, no kidding, and check out Gomer and Goober's tow truck. If you want to tour around town, don't walk, don't take your own car, take a squad car tour. Yes, they have Mayberry squad cars that you can tour around town and get a complete tour of the area. No visit is complete without riding in a Mayberry squad car. You get to visit places like Barney's Cafe, Floyd's Barber Shop. Remember Floyd the Barber? Yes. Snappy's Lunch. You'll also drive by Andy's original home place, Andy Griffith. You'll swing by the Darlings. Remember the Darlin boys? Oh, yes. Charlene. She was a heartthrob of mine. Charlene, the boys, and Mr. Darlin. Where else can you get a ride through Mayberry, through Mount Airy, North Carolina, in a squad car? All right, it's beautiful, folks. It's something I'm going to plan on doing maybe this upcoming year, if not definitely the next year, when I slide into retirement and have all the time in the world. You never know. If I plan it right, I might visit Mayberry Days in 2017 and see you there. You just never know. You're going to also get to see a replica of Andy Taylor's sheriff's office and courthouse. It's right next to Wally service station. Take an opportunity to sit out front like Barney and Andy used to on the bench. Watch the traffic go by, wave to everybody. Mayberry RFD, Mount Airy, North Carolina, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those towns where everybody waves to everybody. You step inside the sheriff's office, and you're going to see pretty much what you saw when you watched the Andy Griffith Show. Take a close look at Andy's desk. Have an opportunity to sit behind it. Check out Otis's jail cell. Do you remember Otis? Otis was the town drunk. He was the lovable drunk, though. Anytime he had a little too much in him, at the end of the day, he always found a place to sleep, and he had his own jail cell. He very simply walked inside and locked himself in. Those were old shows, folks, the good old days, the times when we could sit around and watch television programs and not really, get too overworked up about, seeing some of the things that we're seeing today, not only in society, but also on television. There's a lot of television programs today that I will have nothing to do with. Yeah, I like my scary movies. I like, the Boris Karloff movies, The Mummy and things like that. But I like good family-oriented programs. And the Andy Griffith Show was one of them. Again, you can visit Mount Airy, North Carolina anytime. You want to go there? Just make your reservations. Check out some of the campgrounds. I'm going to mention a couple of them here in just a little bit. But if you're not camping, and I don't try to encourage everybody to go out and, rent a motel room or a hotel room. If you're going to go that route in the wintertime, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with taking your family and getting out and doing some fun things. But if you're going to, you definitely want to take the opportunity to take in some camping. And they've got some wonderful camping spots right around Mount Airy. There's some, unforgettable attractions. And this coming event here in Mount Airy, the one I'm talking about that's going on right now, has got some special guests that were on the Andy Griffith Show. Now, here's one of my favorite characters, and everybody loves Andy Griffith. You can't help but to love Andy and Barney and some of the other ones. But did you have a favorite character in the Andy Griffith Show? One that I will never forget, and this guy was a genius. He played the role to the T, and he was my favorite character. He only appeared in 5 episodes, but anytime he comes on TV, I'm bound to get a good laugh. Do you remember Ernest T Bass? He was played by Howard Morris. He was the belligerent hillbilly constantly taunting Andy and Barney on the show. He's best known for throwing rocks and breaking windows. He's a true nut, but a very talented actor. And, Ernest T Bass, I just can't forget the voice. I can't forget how he played the role. And just about any time you saw Ernest T Bass on the Andy Griffith Show, you knew that some windows were going to be busted. But, those are the memories that I really enjoy. And it takes me back each and every time. It really makes you also realize that life is too short. So definitely take the opportunity to get out and enjoy it while you're here. None of us are going to live forever. And there's going to be times, and you're going to say in life, I really wish I could have gone back and done this. Well, here's something you can do, folks. If you're interested in visiting Mount Airy, North Carolina, again, I'll have some links on my website at happycamperradio.com where you can click on them and keep track of the Andy Griffith Show and Andy Griffith Days, Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina for 2017. I'm looking here on the website right now. In fact, I got it pulled up in front of me. There's about 3 different websites where you can actually go and check out what's going on. Fun and games, shows some of the special guests that they have this year here on the show. You remember I was talking to you about Charlene Darling? She was, that role was played by Maggie Peterson. She is at Mayberry Days this year. How about Ronnie Shell? He also played Duke Slater and Gomer Pyle. And you saw him on the Andy Griffith Show occasionally. Well, Ronnie Shell is supposed to be there this year, as well as Margaret Carey, who played Bess Maggins. I really don't remember her, but I do remember Thelma Lou. She was played by the actress Betty Lynn. These are a few of the folks that are going to be up there, including Karen Knotts. She is an actress, comedian, as the daughter of the late Don Knotts. Some of the characters that will appear during Mayberry Days this year, which is going on right now, September 21st through the 25th in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And you can find all this information, like I say, on the different websites that they have available. And like I say, some of the things you can see and do are on there too. If you take that squad car tour, remember the Darlings we just talked about? Okay, you get to see where they live, some replica housing. They've got, what else do they have here? They got the Main Street Foley's Market, the Mayberry Hotel, radio and TV repair. Wow, it's just the photographs here alone will bring back a lot of the different memories of that show and the times that we sat down when we were a kid and got to watch things that went on in the Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry RFD. Wow, it is just a great place to visit. And I'm going to have to do this more often, folks, when I, get into some of the future programs. It's nice to talk about camping equipment. It's nice to talk about some of the new gear that's coming out, as well as some different camping techniques. But oftentimes we like to hear about some different places that we can enjoy, different places that we can plan for a camping trip, that we can take the family, load them up, and depending upon where we're at geographically in this world, chances are there's going to be some places that are within driving distance. Again, here I am in Atlanta, Georgia, on the outskirts of Atlanta, and never really knew what they had in Mount Airy, North Carolina. But you come across these things, you do some research. Let me do your research for you. I'll do that, and I'll host some of these events, like I say, on the program. And we can talk about them in addition to, some of the latest camping gear and outfits and everything else that's going on, as well as having some guests on the program. But, this is going to be something that I'm going to plan on. It's something you may want to plan on, and no doubt I'll probably be talking about it again, not too far down the road. If you're interested in camping in Mount Airy, North Carolina, like we say, it's right there on the border of Virginia and North Carolina, about an hour, well, I'm going to say maybe about 8-hour drive from where I'm at. But, here's some campgrounds in the area, family-oriented campgrounds that you may want to consider and look them up if you're planning on visiting Mount Airy, North Carolina, anytime down the road. Campgrounds include the Mayberry Campground, the Beech Nut Family Campground, and the Holly Ridge Family Campground. Those are only a few in that area. But if you do your research, if you do, you're checking into things, chances are you're going to find something very close by that's going to suit your needs, whether you're primitive camping or you're bringing an RV, a motorhome, or however you're getting there. Chances are you're going to find some lodging and everything will be picture perfect for you. Oftentimes, it's just setting the time aside and getting to where you need to go. But if you're a careful planner, if you're a good camper, and you lay everything out ahead of time, and you know what you're going to see, you know where you're going to go, you know what type of activities that you're going to take in, everything is going to be perfect. Everything is going to fall in place. Granted, it costs a little bit of money in some instances, but here at this particular event, you're going to find just about anything that you want to enjoy at a reasonable price. They even have some of the ticket prices to some of these events on their website. So if you plan on visiting next year and you want to see some of these attractions, you'll get a pretty good idea of what it's going to cost. It's a great place to visit, Mount Airy, North Carolina. I want to visit there. I hope you do too. So definitely consider that in the year 2017, or really just about any time. If you don't want to take in the festivities or anything like that, but you want to go take the tour and see some of these places, they've got some phone numbers there available on their website too. You could call for additional information, but it's a great place for you to take your family, your loved ones, just to get away and take in all the sights and sounds of the campground environment and everything around it. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. And speaking of North Carolina, That's where we're going to take you this week, to the North Mills River Campground. It's a beautiful camping destination, and it's open all the way through October 31st of this year. And if you enjoy the outdoors, if you enjoy the rustic environment, just looking at some of the photographs on their website will get you all excited about visiting North Mills River. It's located in a rustic getaway on the Pisgah National Forest in western North Carolina, located just outside the popular city of Asheville. The campground provides access to a variety of culture and natural attractions, including the scenic Blue Ridge Parkway and numerous hiking, fishing, and mountain biking opportunities. The campground is situated in the Appalachian Mountains with an elevation of 2,200 feet. The forest is known for hiking and mountain biking trails, several which are near the campground. Mills River offers excellent trout fishing, as well as tubing and swimming, great summertime activities. Visitors wishing to learn more about the area can attend educational programs during the summer. It's a relatively small facility with campgrounds organized in 2 loops on opposite sides of the river. The sites are mostly shaded and lie within a short distance of water. The facility also provides picnic tables, tent pads, lantern posts, and campground wings with grills, in addition to the restroom and hot showers, which you can always enjoy, and flush toilets. Campers can purchase ice, firewood, and rent tubes right there on site. A lot of activities and amenities. You can find them all on their website. And know some of the things before you go to. Tents must be on the gravel. The facility has first-come, first-served sites, and it's open year-round, limited services from November to March. It limits 2 tents and 2 vehicles per site, $3 for additional vehicles. All the information you need to know is right there. And also remember, don't move firewood. Help protect our forest from those pesky tree-killing insects by obtaining your firewood locally and burning them right there on site. For more information, don'tmovefirewood.org, or you can also click on the link on our homepage at happycamperradio.com. Great place to go camping if you're interested in camping anywhere in North Carolina. You also may want to consider North Mills River. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And, of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to visit on the program, definitely get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Make sure you include a link to the campground website. Well, that's all the time I have for today's show. Glad to be back here in the studio with you, as always. And we'll get together again real soon for another edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Looking forward to it. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to circles on Google+. And now subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no question about it, my friends, I'm going to do my very best to make a happy camper out of you. Have a good one, everybody. Back with you again real soon. This is Happy Camper Radio.